Hi everyone, welcome to The Perspective. My name is Kelsey. So we're gonna on this channel, we're gonna run it back, and we're going to be discussing, of course, different sociological perspectives as it relates to pretty much everything. And on today's conversation, we're going to be discussing joy. Okay. And look, I'm coming to y'all with no glasses on, okay? It's because this is a heavy conversation, okay? So I want everyone to really relax into this conversation and really attempt to take in what I'm trying to put out, okay? There's just a lot that I think that's going on in the world. Not just now, but I guess forever in life, your personal life. And not, I don't just mean politically, right? I mean, people are dealing with so much socially. I think that, let me fix this camera because I definitely don't want my head but there's so much that this country is dealing with right now that I think we have to discuss how to continuously have joy. On my first video, I discussed a video that I have on my YouTube for like 10 years plus now, maybe, from Joel Osteen, discussing, it's called The Secret Place. And I know some of y'all hate Joel Osteen. I'm not a fan, just so y'all know. Okay, sometimes God will put the word in somebody. God might not come to you, in the prettiest form, but he gonna get you. Sometimes he gonna get you where you need to go. Okay, so in any case, and in that video, I discuss joy as one of the topics I want to discuss. It's my first topic because, y'all can see I'm still sitting here in my little orange shirt. I want to discuss it because I think that I'm gonna just lay it out real easy. Like, joy lives in simplicity. That is, I think, the most easiest way to find it. I think it's the easiest way to sustain it. And I also think that it's the easiest way to interpret what we have going around us in this world. And the reason I say all of those three things like that is because as I've grown up, I'm in my 30s now, of course I've dealt with different situations, okay? Okay, I'm human. My perspective as a sociologist is much more, it's definitely an academic understanding. And of course, to live it is another thing, but it makes it pretty much easier to live it. When in the knowing, it does make it easy, right? Maya Angelou, if you know better, you do better, right? And so I do think that it has helped me to take this route in life. And I think it has positively, negatively, sometimes differentiated me from other individuals. And it has made me this is leading up to another kind of conversation. It has made me a spectator of life. I almost always fashion my interactions with other people in the form of would I do what they did? Do I want to do what they did? How do I want to interpret what someone did around me? And do I take that on and internalize what they're doing? Is it easier to understand that they themselves easier, and I should say simpler, is it simpler to understand that the way another individual behaves around you, because of you, for you, whatever, is simply their perspective. It's their experiences, their perspective. They are forming the best. And when I say the best, I do not mean it's good. You know, that's their best interpretation of who they should be. Even if their best interpretation is, they can see it as, they might know they're bad, right? But to them, it's their best understanding on how to handle the situation without bringing harm to themselves, because maybe they have previously been harmed by something, the similar situation they were in. And so the reason I say is it's simpler to think that it could just be their version of their world. And in their world, whatever they say, things that come out of another person's mouth, sometimes they might not be expressing themselves in the best way that they can, because let's say there's so many varying topics or influences on how someone speaks, but one of them is, of course, is emotions, right? Some people unfortunately get stuck in their emotions, and they basically, anytime they interact with you, that emotion comes back to them immediately. They basically attach you to a certain emotion, a certain thought, emotion, and now it's a habit. And now they just are in a flow state. And sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you catch it too late. And sometimes you catch it right on time and you get the fuck out of there. Okay. So I'm telling you, people will lay out their lives on you. That's what I'm saying. Everybody you meet is a ball of experiences, right? And their experiences become their perspective. And then their perspective becomes how they treat you. And now some people would refer to this as projection. Now, I don't really that plays a part in sociology, but it's not it's not how we tend to describe how someone is communicating to another, because that's more of a psychological thing, psychology thing to discuss, right? But it plays a role because of what I just stated. People's experiences, nature versus nurture, as some want to, as we call it, basically have this, it makes them who they are, their experiences, and in the projection world of thinking, they're basically attacking you with their experiences. They are full on saying, you're like this because I've seen this before, and you can't be what you say you are. I've seen someone like you. You have certain characteristics that are, I don't believe they're what I don't think you're what you think you are. And I've ran into this a few times in my life, actually, because of the 3 things I just laid out, and I said it in my my first pinned video, but my intro video. So when people interact with someone that has joy, I do think it is intimidating. I do think it's intimidating. And I can understand it as, you know, as a person that has been deemed having joy myself, seeing other individuals with joy, I can see why a person over there with joy can be intimidating to others that don't have it. You know, we live in our bodies and our minds. Our minds are, our brains are our brains live in a state of constant fear and constant survival. It's a constant combination of that, trying to figure out ways to survive their, you know, different fears. But it's also kind of like your brain is stuck in a state of, let's say, disbelief, right? We're until we successfully see all of the facets of a successful interaction with a person, sometimes our, you know, not all, but real strong facets of a person's personality, we tend to, if we've had another person like that failed us previously, we tend to live in a state of disbelief. We don't trust them. We don't trust, like, you giving off vibes from, you know, my you know, some people are like, my stupid ass, my stupid, you know, angry, gritty, childhood best friend. But that's what they're really discussing when they're saying, no, you're not really a joyful person. That's what they're discussing. They're saying, I've met someone that behaved in this manner and they failed me. So I think you're going to fail me too. I don't trust that you can be as good as you are or as happy as you are. And so I've had instances, maybe 2. Yeah. About 2 where when I was living in a state of joy, and joy is definitely, you know, I should have said this earlier. Joy is basically long-standing happiness, right? It's happiness to me, and I think I read up on this as well, but happiness is like temporary flutters, you know, emotional flutters, but joy is more of this sustained, like you can always go to it place. In that Joel Osteen video, it's referred to as the secret place. And in my interpretation, I believe it's your connection, your direct connection with God. It's this place where God is untouchable within you. And so you don't let people easily interact with that secret place, that part of yourself. And it's sustained. It would take a lot, and it takes a lot to break it, I guess. Right. So I've had people basically say, one, they're saying, you know, it's not true, like straight out, like, you're not, you're not on that time. Like, you're not actually a joyful person. You see, the other one is it's not sustainable. You know, in that form, I've heard some people say you haven't lived a hard enough life. And that's something I've heard some people in my family say at some point, like you haven't lived a hard enough life, which we need to make you learn a lesson on how hard life can be. And in that lesson, they believe that joy, that viewing of life as if things can happen and good things can happen and flow your way, will dull down if you're in enough terrible situations. And so here, let me give you enough terrible situations, right? Have those type of people. And then thirdly, you have the people that believe that if inside of your joy, being that you're inside of this joy state, you basically are not intellectually aware of what's going on in the world. They believe that you're kind of people that don't believe in having sustained joy and happiness. They think that you're dumb. They're like, how are you happy? Like, have you ever heard someone say, how are you happy right now? I had someone when I was younger, I think I was about 22 years old. We were headed, it was one of my roommates actually. We were headed to church, and this person asked me, why are you so bubbly? And it's one of my, honestly, because sometimes some things are hilarious to me. Like secretly hilarious, but also something that I always try to be a spectator of people around me and how my interactions are with them, and how they perceive me. It's I find it interesting. So I remember there, I'm talking to her, but there was a space in my mind was like, she sounded bitter when she said, why are you so bubbly? And then I was also thinking, is that a real even question to ask? It's such an odd question with us going to church right now. But this person was basically saying, how are you joyful in this life? Like, what do you have to be happy about? There's so much to be sad about. And again, that goes back to, that's projection, right? That's a psychology term in the psychology world. It's projecting. This person's, if we're bringing it back to sociology, this person's nature and nurturing and experience of life has skewed their perspective in such a way that they no longer believe that there is a joyful, sustained joyful state. They don't believe that a person can live in the world and go back to that foundational state. It can't be your core. It can't be involved in your core, And I thought that was so interesting. And honestly, it was funny. It was funny because I think that would have been a great turning point. And when I started to see that person showcase a lot of bitter behaviors. And so what we have right now, I guess this shirt is a little tight. Y'all don't mind me in my orange because I used to be called Red. Like my nickname was kind of like Red, and sometimes Orange. And I decided I thrive in it as an adult. I'm like, I thrive in the red. I thrive in the orange. Let me stop. But okay, so like I really do believe that joy is simple. I think that if you cut down on that perspective that you have, I mean, you take it down to the bone, because that perspective is literally how you see the world, how you see people. Take that out, knock that out the way, right? And then you go to, your nature versus nurture thoughts, right? So some people is just, they've been nurtured or have experiences. If you kind of try to cut down on many of your experiences and you try to just literally cut them out, because a lot of those experiences that you're having are just with other people that are projecting their life onto you and their experiences. So you got to cut that down, because that don't matter, right? Because joy is within yourself. So you cut that down, right? Take off all those experiences with different people, and then you go ahead and you jump into the nature, I guess, right? Nature in the biology world tends to be more like genetic talk, but we don't got to get into that right now. But if you jump into the nature aspect, like what is innately in you, honestly, if we're being literal, we can't change our genetics. But if we're being literal as to what's in you, we're going to be talking about your diet, right? So you can simplify your diet. You know what your body needs. You know what your body needs. Okay? There's a list somewhere online. You talk to a doctor is going to tell you, hey, your body needs this, and this. And if you following that to some level, you're going to start having some connection of joy. I'm telling you, your body is going to start feeling better. Like literally your body, right? Because we're talking about nature, genetics, biology of your body's going to feel better. And that's just a simple knockdown of how to get joy in the physical world of your life, right? Okay. So there's that, right? And then if you want to play with your experiences with different people, you knock down, there's social intelligence. You knock down what people are saying to you. Like I just gave you all an example of someone asking me why I was bubbly on a beautiful, bright Sunday morning. Like I view that in the space of, if you take even that statement, right? Because that's a social, she just created a social construction of what she felt my thoughts were that day, my emotions, my feelings, how I wanted to be, my persona that day. She was basically describing that. If you knock that down, you take, why are you so bubbly? Literally the statement, all right? Because I told you all, I do want to discuss language here. You take that and the person is saying you are bubbly. And that was the actual term. This person is saying you represent something that statement is a statement of rarity, right? She's saying, and I told you all the negative connotation of that statement, but there's a positive connotation. That statement could be taken into your aura, as some people say, your persona, your vibration right now, the energy you're giving off in this world is uncommon. It's unusual in a way that I need to ask you, how are you feeling like this? Can you tell me why? How do you feel bubbly today, Kelsey? Share it with me. Share what you feel. And I remember saying something like, I don't know, man, we headed to church and I think they're going to sell us some Escovitch red snapper fish, okay? Because it was selling that in the back of the trunk in the car. There was some Ghanaian individuals selling that. Girl, that thing was good, okay? And that's all I could think of. I remember it being so simple. But the thing is, that's how I believe that life should be. And I by simplifying what you stand for, what is important to you, your diet, maybe your experiences with other people, like when you're experiencing other people, maybe, and this is something in the Bible as well, to not be so easily offended. There are people that are offending so many people in this world that are attacking other people because, again, if you can imagine a knife fight, they're coming at you with your experiences, you're coming at them with yours, and you're all just projecting, just a big, glitter ball, like they have in those roller skating rinks. Y'all just a whole, like, what is that called? Like one of those round lights with all the shining lights on it, whatever. Y'all are just projecting onto other people and y'all are coming at each other in a knife fight. And what you need to do is come at each other with, an understanding that there's people that have overcomplicated their experiences. And there is bad in this world. I am not denying that. But we need to understand that there are people that have made a complex version of their life. Like, I gained weight in the past few years, but if we're talking about that nature part of our experiences in life and how we experience life, your doctor already told you what you need. It's listed up almost everywhere. But there are people that, if you try to make it too hard, you're going to be eating a bunch of bad things. And then you get lost in like, why am I gaining weight? But the simplest answer is there, because the simplest answer is at the core of who you are. Again, that secret place, your connection with God. Maybe what's important to you is your connection with your mother, your father. Although I don't tend to put my in my secret place is God. But there's something that is so you. It's so perfectly you that no one can take it from you. No one, and like me being excited about Escovitch fried fish that day, it was kind of like that was after church. I was going to be in 3, 4, 5 hours that I was going to get this fish, but it carried me. That joy, just thinking about it, carried me. It carried me through the day, it carried me overnight, and it carried me, and then after eating it, it definitely carried me about 2, 3 days. Okay. So it is that simple. What do you love about yourself? What do you find compelling? What makes you bubbly? What makes you bubbly? And I mean, what makes you healthy? What simply makes you healthy? That is where your joy is. That is where your joy is. And if you have joy, you will have more clarity and you will be able to rest in your life. And I feel so sad for the people that have, and I've been in that place, because yeah, I get back-to-back joy sometimes, but sometimes life hit hard. Okay. So I've been in that place where I'm like stressed out or, up at night and things like that. But there's people that have that for prolonged periods of time. And I mean, years, life, 30 years, God bless. And so find out what you like, what will sustain you, literally your biology of your body. You need to go get sun, go get sun. Make it a conversation. Make it a understanding and conversation with yourself. Like, what is it that I need to be happy? Don't think of happiness and joy as these hard to get tasks. You have it within you. It is in this secret place within you, it's there already. And you can say God granted it to you. If you're a Christian out there, God gave it to you. You can say the universe gave you, if you're into astrology and shit, like where it's in you and it's already been interpreted, right? Your doctor already know what you need to live a healthy life. You just added stuff onto your plate. You added that fried chicken. Okay. You added that sweet tea. You ain't need that sweet tea. You needed the water. You made it more complicated. You made your life more difficult, but there is what you need in it. You break that fried chicken down. That's protein. I'm messing with y'all. Look. I'm talking right now. Like, I came to y'all, glasses off, heavy conversation, because it's so important to me. And I wish there were more people that had joy, because we will be living in a different world right now. But, really, I wish people, and all of this is coming off the brain, the neurons, the synapses, they firing off right now. I didn't take any notes on this, but I'm gonna read y'all something. Lastly, this is from this book here. by Richard Anderson, discussing Toni Morrison, who favorite author along with Stephen King, discussing one of her books. It says on page 48, "The Bluest Eye is more than just a story about a girl who's driven mad by her desire to attain a false standard of beauty. Pecola wasn't born with this desire. She learned it from the people who made her feel worthless. Her story is also the story of a community that persecutes its weakest members." I want to make it very clear that, and this is this, you just know the bluest eye. Pecola wasn't born with this desire. Okay, so we can complicate our lives in a way where we weren't born with it innately, right? There's that nature, and we have a way of bringing things into our lives that ended up making us ill, mentally, physically, socially, thoughts, all of these things. But if you cut down on the things that weren't there before, they couldn't have been there. You cut down on those things, you're going to find something that you're going to find things you weren't born with. Some things that people projected onto you and you dusted off. No Jay-Z. And you'll find the joy there. You'll find that mustard seed. And you can build so much from it, and you become a fruitful person within yourself. Right? So that's all I have to say. Look, I love y'all. Thank you. I ain't shy, and neither should you be. Love you.